Hey guys, welcome back to the Qkumba Zoo channel. In this video I'm going to be answering 2 more questions about Qkumba Zoo, so stick around. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell button so you can be notified when we're uploading new videos. And by the way, thank you for spending some time with me. In case you didn't know, my name is Al and I'm one half of Qkumba Zoo. Right, in this video I'm going to answer a question from Philip Maxilin. Phil, I hope I'm not butchering the pronunciation of your surname, but please let me know if I am. So Phil asks, how does the state of the world influence your writing? Phil, that is a very good question and one I'm going to spend a little bit of time on. So basically the answer, Phil, is basically twofold. On the one hand, the state of the world doesn't influence our writing much at all, yet on the other hand, it actually does quite a bit. So I don't see Qkumba Zoo as a political band in the sense that we aren't really responding to current events or trying to persuade people to vote this way or that. But I would say that we use our music to respond to events in our personal lives as well as themes and trends in the world out there. I've been thinking quite a bit about this recently and I've come to the conclusion that one way of looking at music is that there are basically 2 types of music. There's the music of forgetting and the music of remembering. I use these terms quite loosely and quite broadly and not very scientifically, but I'd rather as a way to understand what the intention of the songwriter and the performer are. It must also be noted that one is not necessarily better than the other. An example of music of forgetting would be your party style music that gets pumped out when you go to a party to forget about life for a while. Or so-called love songs that are so infused with infatuation and obsessiveness, making you forget that real love actually involves choice and sacrifice, and not just the feel-good stuff. On the other hand, the music of remembering is there to help you remember some aspect of your own power, or the power of people around you, or people out there. And that could be involved remembering your own worth or taking care of the planet, reminding ourselves that just because some people are different to you doesn't mean that they are less than you. Both of these types of music can take an infinite number of forms in response to an infinitely variable world. So type of music will cover all styles. For instance, music of remembering can be peaceful yoga, angry punk music, thoughtful folk music, or even bouncy house music. Music of forgetting can be cheesy pop music, angry punk music again, party EDM themes, etc. It's really about the intentions of the writers and performers and what impact they want to have on the world. Furthermore, most creators will produce both types of music, although they'll tend towards one more than the other. So, coming back to your question, Phil. To anyone paying attention, the world is in a state of real challenge at the moment with issues such as climate change, rampant negative nationalism, the re-emergence of prejudice and making that prejudice okay, and an idiocracy that champions ignorance, economic disparity, and severely limited and unhealthy approach to education. These issues are all woven together in one smorgasbord of what the hell is going on and how we face these challenges. And as writers, both Levan and myself feel very deeply about many of these issues. So whilst we might not address any of the topics head on with our music, we definitely are embedded and feel very deeply about what is going on around us. So I like to think that Qkumba Zoo makes music that sits on the side of helping people remember who they are and why they are here. And whilst I don't want to come across as being self-important, I do hope that our music has some form of transformative effect on those who relate to what we're doing and what we're saying. So in that sense, Phil, the state of the world definitely influences our writing. I could probably carry on talking about this for hours, but I'm going to leave it there for now and hope that this answers your question without being too cryptic. But Phil, if I'm not mistaken, you also produce music, and so I would be very interested to know how the state of the world impacts upon your creation, if at all. In fact, if any of you guys are creators, I would be interested to know how you integrate the world around you into art. Please let me know. Leave some comments below or create your own video letting me know. And let me know if this sparks any other questions and I'll answer them in a future video for you guys. Alright, going to answer a question from Sam Bright now. Sam asks, what is our favorite concert to date? Sam, I'm going to mention a few because it's pretty tough to decide. Often our favorite concerts are the small, intimate ones where it's just Levan on vocals and myself on guitar, sometimes accompanied by a percussionist or a bassist. A lot of those types of gigs happened towards the beginning of our career or when we were touring the heartland of South Africa in the early 2000s. So apart from these intimate gigs, I'm going to mention 4 bigger gigs that stand out in my memory. Firstly, some of you came across us in the Palladium gig in New York in '96. It was really our first big gig outside of South Africa, and we were, to be quite honest, very terrified. We had no idea what to expect, and I don't think the audience had any idea what to expect from us either. But we went on stage for about 30 minutes and did our thing, including performing the Junior Vasquez remix version of The Child Inside. We weren't booed off stage, which is a really cool thing. And in fact, we got quite a good, if slightly bemused, reaction from a very colorful crowd. I think the Palladium crowd was a little stunned by these otherworldly creatures performing on their stage, with Tiki doing fire and using her dancing props, Lavana singing in her dark blue outfit, myself playing guitar and djembe, and all of us painted in our tribal fairy look. So it was great to experience the heart of New York, and we definitely came away smiling, especially as our song was literally #1 on the dance charts that week that we performed at the Palladium. And it was really kind of special that we were able to pop up to visit Junior while he was playing. Yeah, that was very cool. And those of you who don't know, it was Junior's remix of The Child Inside that helped the song reach the #1 spot on the Billboard dance charts. So yes, that was definitely a highlight of our performance career. Another gig where we had a similar experience was when we launched our first album. We had a big splash at the then new Nelson Mandela Square in Sandton City in '95. For those of you who don't know, Sandton City is actually a shopping mall that became the center of a financial district in Johannesburg over many years. At the end of apartheid, the Mandela Square was added to the mall and became quite an iconic attraction in Johannesburg, or in the north of Johannesburg. Anyway, back to Qkumba Zoo. Candy, who worked at David Gresham Records at the time, set up and promoted the gig, and she was really quite good at it because when we arrived at the gig, the whole square was packed. The Child Inside had recently hit #1 on the biggest pop station in South Africa at the time, which was 5FM, but still we had no idea it was going to be that full. And yes, we were flippin' terrified as well. But we went on stage for about 50 minutes, if I recall correctly, and between Lavana wooing with her vocals, Tiki dazzling with her fire, David John, who occasionally performed with us helping Tiki and her fire, and myself trying to remember my chords, I think it went off pretty well. We totally did not expect such a big crowd and the positive reaction, but it was a very good experience, and it was our first gig in front of such a large audience. You must remember we're always experimenting with our stage shows, and doing that in front of loads of people was pretty daunting. Right, so the third concert I remember very fondly is one that we've spoken about before, and that is the opening for Erasure on the South African leg of their tour. Although technically there was 4 gigs as we opened for them twice in Joburg, Cape Town and Pretoria. We had a pretty receptive audience who didn't overdo that, please go to the stage now because we want to see the main band thing. That can happen to opening acts. So we felt like we belonged, and also it was a gig where I experimented using live sequences instead of backing tracks, which was pretty nerve-wracking for me, to be honest, but fun overall. But one of the main reasons why we enjoyed that gig was that Andy, Vince and their team were just very cool. Andy especially was approachable, and he actually liked us. I remember moments when we were playing Cloud Eyes that he was just off stage with tears in his eyes, apparently crying because he was touched by that song. And as a side note, we invited them to come across for dinner one night, but unfortunately they couldn't make it. So we didn't get to spend any social time with them, which would have been like pretty awesome. So the fourth honorable mention is another gig we did in the States at Terre Haute. Terre Haute, for those who don't know, is a town in Indiana about 3 hours drive south of Chicago. In fact, I think it's a university town if I'm not mistaken. It was exciting to get there because we caught this tiny 2-prop plane that seated about 20 to 30 people from Chicago to Terre Haute, passing through some hectic turbulence on the way. So we weren't always sure we were going to get to arrive in Terre Haute at all. And I remember the gig because there were some other really good acts on stage as well, including Donna Lewis. And we also received a warm reception, as I think the local radio had been very supportive of The Child Inside. And whereas many of our other gigs on the tour, the audience took a bit of time to warm up to these weird performers from South Africa, in Terre Haute we actually felt an immediate connection to the audience. So that and being outside a big city and hanging out with Donna Lewis on the way out of Terre Haute all made it pretty memorable. So yeah, those are the 4 gigs that stand out particularly strong in my memory, Sam. This is probably more of an answer than you're expecting. But having said that, I have a question for you guys. If you ever saw us live, where was that? And what did you think of us at the time? What was your first impression? Did you think we were kind of weird and strange? I'd be very interested to know. Anyways, let's leave it there for this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and please do post questions and comments below or on our Facebook page. See you in the next video where I'll be answering more questions from Phil and Sam. Cheers guys, have a great day.